Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're going to review round 4 of the 2026 NRL Fantasy season. So this week was alright in the end. We scored 810, which did see us move up in the overall rank about 8,000. But I guess the reason why that's okay is we only ended up with 16 players. So I know there was other teams that were a lot fewer, 15 or less. So we did avoid most of the carnage, but I guess when you've only got 2 trades to use in these early rounds, sometimes it's unavoidable. But if we have a look at the team, Reid Marnie, unfortunately only getting 13 points this week, a few errors, and probably not playing the 80-minute role that we want him to. Yeah, whether you want to upgrade at this point or um, what you do with Reid Marnie, it's team dependent. Um, I think at the moment my priority is about making cash. So um, in saying that, there might be an option for Reid Marnie this week, but not a must trade out. Um, Obviously, these scores aren't helpful, but yeah, I think he'll score better than 13 most weeks. Hamish Stewart, uh, 71 points this week, as we sort of expected with the Couchman brothers both out. There was a lot of minutes for the Dragons forward pack to fill out, and we thought Hamish Stewart would get a fair, decent chunk of them, which he did, and then he was busy, try assist there as well, where he was in the right place at the right time off the kick. But again, you've got to chase the kick if you want to be there. So a great effort for him. Jesse Colquhoun ended up scoring a try to boost himself up to 42, which was pretty handy. Um, yeah, made a bit of cash. It doesn't say on here, you have to go to full profile. So made 30k this week and still has a bit of cash gen there with a break even of 19. So he's got a buy coming up in a couple of weeks. But it should also be around the time that Lasardi um, is due back into the Storm team. So, it could be the perfect sort of cash out option, which in the end, I'm sort of glad that I went that way with the trade last week. Isaiah Yeo, 53, another try scorer in the middle. I guess with the way how good the Panthers are going at the moment, they're sort of not leaning on Isaiah to play big minutes. And that's okay. He's still scoring well while he's out there, but um, I guess we'll wait for those tougher matchups later in the season to come up where they might need him to, sort of have his presence out there for the whole time. Still think he's a keeper, but if you haven't got him, don't panic about rushing to get him in. Noah Martin, so 53 points in the game against the Sharks. Just continues to make cash, break even at 12, so there's more to come this week. Yeah, another one that is just going to sit there for a few weeks until we either cash him out or we decide he is the man for the rest of the season. Joe Chan, 39 points, so making us a bit more money, which is nice. Bit more to go this week, albeit a tough matchup against Penrith. Should be an absolute cracker. Nathan Cleary, captained him, scored 75, which was pretty much the best way to go. Yeah, tough matchup again this week, as we said, against the Storm. Um, so captaincy could be a bit interesting this week, but yeah, he's don't need to say too much more about him. Ethan Sanders, 43 points. Obviously, the goal kicking, the general kicking in play, helping him out a lot with his scores. He's still got a bit of cash to make, but with a bit of cash in the bank, he is a likely upgrade target in the next week or two. Macassini, 29, hasn't sort of exploded yet, but happy just to take the slow burn, job security, drill position. He's got enough as a fantasy asset to to stay. Kaolero, so only at 28, has leaked a lot of cash now. Let's say he's got to be down about 100k. Yeah, 92k. So it hurts a bit that he didn't start as hot as we would like, particularly when you see Herbie Farnworth averaging 60, albeit we would have had to reach with the amount of money we shelled out there. Suafei Lungo, 54, really solid score, continues to score tries and look dangerous at the back. Jacob Kiraz looks like he bounced back from whatever injury he was struggling with last week. 49, had offloads, had runs, that sort of thing. Was one of the better players there for the Bulldogs on Saturday Arvo. And Fayamani only getting an 18-point return. So probably, real slow burn. Yeah, definitely an upgrade target in the near future if we can cash out one of our more heftier cash cows. On the bench, we had Dan Atkinson, who only scored a 25. Just, I guess, wasn't his best game. A couple of errors and the like. But maybe with Cole Flanagan being out, he'll shoulder more of the responsibility in the attacking zone as well, not just the long kicking and general sort of organisation. Keelan Loki, 56. He's another one of these edge players that's just churning out points, generating cash. We're not going to keep them all, but yeah, he's one that is useful for the round 12 buy if we're thinking that far ahead. Um, so yeah, while he's scoring, we'll keep playing him. And then Arama Howe was probably the star this week. 87 points, a couple of tries, including the barnstormer from about 50 out. Um, yeah, real sort of Leka Halasima from last year type moment. So yeah, glad I've had him from the start. He's made 200k, negative 19 break even, which is best in the league. So yeah, he's gonna jump up in cash fairly quickly for the next couple of weeks. And then unfortunately, Setu 2 was a late-ish out. I think it was named a bit earlier, but I missed it until just before kickoff yesterday. Um, so basically just threw Fayamani on the field, but had no recourse to get a 17th player in this week. So in terms of the leagues, uh, just missed out in the first league to LA Knight, Mark's team, with an 825. So he didn't have Trey Mooney. So very similar forward pack other than Trey Mooney, who I'd benched. Adam Dewey was 75, was nice. Herbie Farnworth scored well. Um, so it looks like we got beaten by a team of 15, which is pretty impressive. Hats off to you, Mark. Reece Walsh with an 82. So yeah, Walsh, Farnworth, and Dewey costed me in the end. Nice. Got a couple of cheap halves on the bench. Can't wait for them to get a start. Um, if we go back to is it fixtures, I'm always lost in fantasy. Um, so looking across the league, looks like Dom's team, NRL Goats Hunted, with a 9. Gotta go back. 928 this week. First on the ladder, and probably rightly so. Alex Twile with the 78. That was a great pickup. He looks really good. Jackson Ford, Stefano Irukamano. So pretty different sort of middles to most, but doing the job. Had Dewey as well, had Farnworth, had Reece Walsh, had Arama Howe on the bench as well, which is nice. So yeah, 16 this week. Pretty well done there, Dom. In the second league, had a tie with Jack DeBelland, Zach's team. So how did we land there? So I got a few points on him with Isaiah Yo over Udi Kamanu. I had Lukey on the bench, so that's the same. But Adam Dewey, Herbie Farnworth, Moses Leo. So the center's still outscoring, the halves outscoring. Had a probably Probably got outscored on the centre wing too, even with Setu 2 out. But Arama Howe probably saving the day for me with the bench of Atkinson, Marnie, Sanders. So there you go. Worked out exactly 810. What do you know? Um, for the second league, 987. That's going to be hard to beat. 975. So a few big 900s in this league, but 987. Ezra's Dash Man. If I go back, 987. So I had Harry Grant at hooker, Stewart and Twal up front did well. Cleary and Dewey in the halves, Herbie Farnworth, Reece Walsh, Arama Howe. Makasini would have slotted in for Satu too. So probably the benefit of having 17 playing players this week. So well done, Jackson, on a great score this week. Just check the Open League, round 4. So Sonny G with a 975, extending the lead at the top of the overall by 90 points. Ezra's Dashman up to 3rd overall. Dom's team up to 5th, so obviously good scores this week helping with that. See if there was anyone coming from deep. Doesn't look like it. So it looks like Jackson got the chocolates here as well, but we'll have a look at Sonny's team. So ranked 139th overall, which is fantastic. Isaiah Papali'i went well with 59. Tanner Boyd, 58. So solid cash gen there. Yeah, would have had Moses Leo fill in, so would have got Arama House 87, which is a nice little bonus for your emergency pick. So yeah, well done, Sonny. Keep going. So, in terms of initial thoughts on trades, we've got a bit of cash in the bank this week, 343. However, I think there might be a couple of opportunities to make some even make some more cash. So, obviously, we've got a couple more weeks until the 3 trades per round start to come in. And I think that's where you get the opportunity to really start to upgrade your side. Um, so I think I'm going to take advantage of the potential cash on offer. And the first trade, I think Reed Marnie isn't really doing much. So I think we can get a similar amount of value at the cheaper price with Brandon Smith. So if he's named to start, first game back, I don't have too many issues with locking and loading him. So that's one trade. And then the other trade, Setu 2 looks like he might not be in the team anymore. So we might as well sub him out for another wing fullback, and that would be Joash Papali'i. So 260k for Joash. I'll have to confirm the trades to look at him. So 260k has a high-ish break even, but with the news that Iongi is going to miss about 8 weeks with that knee injury due to the hip drop tackle that he was involved in, you'd imagine Papali just slots straight in at the back, and it's probably his preferred position. So interested to see how he goes with a decent run at it. So as you can see, it leaves us a massive war chest in the bank. But assuming there's no real cheapies next week, it does give you an opportunity to maybe upgrade an Atkinson and Sanders to 2 sort of premium halves and really just lock away the halves combination for the best part of the season. Or we could get a Herbie Farnworth in for Euro and sort of upgrade there. It could even be like a Fayamani all the way up to a Reece Walsh. You've got that much cash that you can do all those sorts of fun things moving forward. So, as I said, we're going to take the cheapies while they're on offer. Obviously, if Brandon Smith's not named to start, we'll just leave Marnie. We could do another trade. We could do that upgrade earlier that we're already thinking of doing. But then putting a team together this week, got a few more decisions because obviously Mooney, Chester both back. Um, so I think we're going to bring Papali in for Fayamani. And then I think Macassini is probably the other one that misses out. So just swap them down the bottom. Um, then after that, we've got 19 players, which I think are all valid playable options this week. Um, Atkinson didn't score too well, but is playing the Cowboys this week, who, I guess showed some signs of life against the Storm. Um, but, still conceded 24 points. So the Dragons could do all right at home as well. Don't have to travel to North Queensland. Um, so obviously Payne Haas, if he misses again, we're not super stressed, but assuming he plays, he's obviously a viable captaincy option against the Titans, who, Tino hasn't been firing. The rest of the forward pack are, probably not really following that either. Um, Obviously, other than Howe, who's killing it, absolute legend. Um, but yeah, it could be a week where, someone like a Joe Chan sits out against Penrith with how good they've been going. They might sort of be able to shut him down. Um, and then Trey Mooney, I think he's got to come back in somewhere. Um, so who misses out? Is it Colhoun averaging 44? Because Atkinson's averaging 41. Sanders 46. There is an argument if the cheese isn't starting. I think saving like having that trade to upgrade, maybe like an Atkinson to just a roll gold, set and forget halves option might be handy. Um, if we put the coach on for a second, you can see the other guys like Lukey, Martin, both with a break even at 12, Chan with a break even at 16, Macassini's got a break even of 11, Trey Mooney 35. So they've, all the cheaper options have got money to make. Um, so none of them are sort of ready to be cashed out yet. But yeah, probably would be Atkinson would probably be the number one on the chopping block um, if we do end up with an extra trade. But as I said, if he's named to start, I think putting the cheese on is uh, is the way to go. He's priced fairly to make some good money. Um, obviously Marty's not setting the world on fire in terms of scoring, so we don't need a lot from him to just hold that hooker position down till we're ready to lock in our Grants, our Brayleys, those sort of premium options. So I will save that for now. Obviously, we've got a few days before we need to commit, so we'll come back on Thursday with the final trades. But we might wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NRL Fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.